Well, hello and welcome to Frame.io Live. My name is Ryan. I'm based in New York. I am a customer success manager here at Frame.io, and today I am going to be taking you through Get to Know Frame.io version 4. I have a really great agenda for you today that we'll go through in just a moment, but as we are getting kick-started, a couple of agenda items. This is a completely live session, so feel free to ask any questions as we go along. I want to ensure that this is a beneficial session for you as you're getting started with Frame, or maybe you recently upgraded your account to Frame.io version 4. You're welcome to find that comment section. Would even love to hear where you're tuning in from and anything that you would like to get out of today's session. We are recording this session, so you will receive a recording via email if you signed up. You also can find this session available live on our YouTube page. We have all of the previous week's recorded sessions available, so you can certainly send it over to your team. I'll also be using that comment section as we go along today to drop in a couple of support articles. We have a rather robust knowledge base with a ton of great resources for features available in Frame, specific workflow related questions, so I'll make sure that you have that at your disposal as well. But taking a peek at our agenda for today, we are going to do a complete end-to-end overview. This is certainly a more introductory type session, so we're going to cover everything from account settings all the way to external sharing. And throughout the middle, we'll talk about user roles, how you can organize your workspaces and projects. We'll chat a little bit about uploading content. Of course, we'll talk about commenting and annotating, which is really the bread and butter of Frame.io, being able to comment, annotate, share out externally. We'll talk about a couple of new features, including metadata and collections, transcriptions, text markup, and then we will conclude from there. But like I said, feel free to ask if you have any questions as we go along over the course of today. I want to make sure that this is a beneficial session for you and your team. I'm going to start off now by sharing a article around getting started in Frame. So just a great frame of reference with a ton of links available for you and your team as well. If you are tuning in, but you've been on V4 for a little while, I did want to drop in the chat as well a blog that links to all of our recently announced updates at NAB. This blog also gets updated monthly by our product teams communicating new features. We also are working on an e-learning hub. So we do have a couple of quick little videos that are available as part of this learning hub. It is available in our knowledge base. I'm dropping that to help get started as well. And as a quick aside, the V4 comments panel is live in Premiere Pro 25.2. So you can export, share, and respond to feedback all within your timeline. But hopping into our Frame.io account here, you're welcome to follow along with me. In your instance, I am logged into my account. We are completely web-based, so I'm just here under app.frame.io. We do have a couple of external resources to connect to Frame. So we have an iOS app and an iPad app. We're also continuing to develop our Premiere Pro integration. We also have an integration coming later in the year for After Effects. APIs are coming soon. A ton of really great ways that you can connect all of your tools directly with Frame to create a consistent throughput for you to work with your teams all the way from pre-production through to post. If you're brand new to Frame.io, we'll do a complete tour so you can see what you're looking at. But if you are an existing user, I would like to highlight that the core functionality from V3 to V4 remains the same. You can upload, comment, annotate, share assets, but there's a ton of new features and a lot of updated functionality that will enable you and your creative teams to work a little bit more effectively and efficiently. Starting with workspaces, this is what you can see here on my main homepage. You can also see a list of your workspaces here on the left-hand side. If you're an enterprise customer, you can create as many workspaces as you would like. The benefit being that you can then put projects within each workspace and determine which users you would like to be a part of these workspaces. So not only does it help parcel out and keep your work organized, but also enables you to limit the users that can see certain assets. Before we go further, I do want to discuss user roles because this can also inform how users actually interact with your content. I am currently the account owner, which means that I have full access. I can see every single workspace and all of the projects within it, including all of the content that exists within those projects. Next, there is a content admin. You can allocate a content admin who then can help differentiate which users are actually a part of projects and can adjust permissions. And then a majority of the users within your account, I would assume, would be members. These are the users that have general access to account information. They collaborate within your workspaces or projects, especially the ones that they're assigned to. And member permissions range from, let me click here to show you. full access, edit and share, edit, comment only, or view only. So all of these users here do occupy a license within your account, but it depends on exactly what you want them to do. Users could then be added as members either at the workspace level, so they have access to every single project, or just at the project level, meaning that they'll only have access to the content within that specific project. This is one of the more common questions that I get is who's who within my account and what exactly can they do? So I'm going to go ahead and share an article that talks a little bit about user roles and permissions just to help get you started. I do want to hop into the settings of the account first, and then we will transition over to creating a project and actually organizing, managing, and going through a review and collaboration process. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, right here where it says RA, that stands for Ryan's account. This is where I'm then able to access the settings. Of course, I could change the theme of my display here as well. But let's go ahead and hop into the settings now. There are some settings that only the account owner has the ability to adjust, but then there's some settings that every single user has access to, such as the profile setting. This is where users can add in their name and their photo. I would recommend that they at least add those so that way you know who's leaving comments or uploading content. Users can also adjust their email and their password here. We also can enable SSO for you if you're an enterprise customer. Just reach out to your account team. We're happy to help. Under the account notifications, users can determine what type of notifications they receive within Frame.io. The first being exclusively email notifications, and then you can select more granular options for comments or asset notifications. This option up here for email notification frequency is a digest, so you can select a range of time ranging from never, daily, hourly, 15, or 5 minutes, which will consolidate a summary of actions that have occurred within your account so that we are not receiving an email anytime anything happens. However, users can also determine if they receive notifications in the app via email or via push notification for iOS, for general comments, comment replies, or app mentions. The same thing goes for assets. Users can determine if they want notifications for uploads, when other individuals upload, when the status of an asset changes, or when something is assigned to you. Usage is where you can get an overview, just a general snapshot of all the members, reviewers, storage projects, and workspaces within your account. The plan and the billing tabs might look different depending on your account type, but this is where you're able to adjust if you're on one of our retail plans, your account type and the users. If you're on an enterprise plan that is all managed directly through an account team, so it looks a little bit different. However, the users, groups, projects, and workspaces tabs, if you are going to be a content admin or an owner, this is where you're going to spend a good amount of time. This users tab is where you can not only keep track of your current users, including determining or sorting based on their last active date, but by clicking into an individual user, you can also see which workspaces they're a part of and the level of access that they have. This tab up in the top right corner is also where you can add new members into your account. So for example, if I want to add my colleague April, I can send over April an email indicating that I want her to be a part of my space. Once April opens up that email, then she'll be added into my account. However, doesn't have access to any content because we haven't added her yet. So I'll show that in just a moment, that any users here will be pending until they accept that invite and sign in. Groups enables you to create a group of users. Let's say that you have a group of editors that you know are going to be a part of every single project. You can create a group that just says editors, and then from here, you can add members into this group. So let's add Jacob and Luke. We know that they are going to be a part of every single project that we're a part of. So instead of me needing to type in their email address to add them, I can simply just add that group of users, saving a little bit of time to grant users access. Workspaces. Like I mentioned, if you're an enterprise customer, you can create as many workspaces as you would like. You could organize and sort them based on your clients, based on specific projects you're working on, an episodic series, etc., etc. Clicking on each of these workspaces will reveal the users and the projects within those workspaces. From here, you can also see how much storage is being occupied for that specific workspace. You can even filter based on the users that are part of these spaces as well. I can create a new workspace here or at that main homepage that we were earlier, but let's call this one Summer Campaign. We know that we're going to be working on a project for summer. We now have a workspace that's created where we can add projects and users. Projects. Similar in this tab, you do have the ability to filter out to see either active or inactive projects. I'll explain that in just a moment. You can also see users or workspaces that are a part of these projects are a part of. Very similar to the users, you also have the ability to search based on storage and can filter based on these options. Branding. This is custom depending on your account type, but here's where I can adjust the account logo and the name of my account. I also can make some defaults for shares. So for example, let's say that I want to have a similar look to the share links that I send out to clients. I want it to match that of my branding. You can see here that this has some Frame.io colors. It's purple and black on purpose. I have now created this template. So anytime I generate a link, it will match this same branding, just an additional customization that can be made for your clients. And content security. This may differ depending on your account type. I'll go through all of these. Pertaining to share settings, you can require a passphrase on all public shares. You also can set a default link expiration or determine which users can actually access downloads. So do you want to allow downloads? That's totally up to you. That's another default that can be applied right here. Secure share settings more pertain to our enterprise customers, but underneath enabled authorized domains, for example, you can limit this to adobe.com, meaning that only users that have that email domain are the ones that can access the content that I share with them. I'm going to shut this off for now. I can also require secure shares. This just means that the user needs to sign into a Frame.io account before they can actually view the content that I shared with them. An extra security feature, just again, requiring that those users are the only ones that can access it. I also can make that a default option. So if I only want users to be secure shared, I can make that a default. Let's switch it back to public. Watermark. Depending on your account type, this might look a little bit different as well, but you can require watermark on all internal assets. It'll burn it in, especially if you download it back, just something to keep in mind. And you can require it on all shares. This is also a tab where I can create some watermark templates. You see here that I already have one for our summer project, but I was able to customize this template to include my specific name, the project name. I can adjust the opacity and rotation and adjust the name, email, IP address, date and time, and any custom creator text. I also can adjust the size or the color. An additional feature here is that I can add in a secondary text block. You can see that I already have a couple here. This one just says new watermark, but let's say that we want to call this one summer campaign. Great. Any questions about settings, please let me know. I'm going to go up here to the top left corner to my home screen, and from here we can go ahead and work on then creating some projects and discuss a little bit more about the most effective way to use this. I know that I mentioned workspaces earlier, that you can determine which users you want to be a part of those spaces. Inviting in members over here will add them automatically to every single project within your workspace. So for my summer campaign, let's go ahead and add in our editors and April. These users will now automatically have access to any project that I create here within my summer campaign workspace. Up here at the top for projects, I do have the ability to sort based on either thumbnail or list view. I also can filter based on active or inactive projects. Let's say that this graphics project here, we know that we're done with it. I can mark it as inactive, hiding it from this homepage. It still occupies seats and storage within my account. However, it's just not visible at this main homepage. Of course, can filter that out to reveal any inactive projects, which will be tagged with this naming convention inactive. I also can view all of them, including my inactive projects if desired. Let's create a new project together. There's a handful of templates that exist here underneath this projects tab. These templates were created by our teams for specific workflows. You could see some professional training, commercial photography, social media marketing. The cool thing about these templates is that they automatically have some metadata fields, collections, and you can include some sample content. Especially if you're brand new to Frame, I would recommend checking these templates out just so you can get an idea of a couple of different workflows. However, I want to start from scratch. Let's go ahead and create a blank project, and let's call this one Casting Photos. I can upload a photo here for my project, or if I don't upload one, a default will be applied. I also can make a project restricted, meaning that users will again have to be invited into that space, even if they are defaulted at the workspace level. an additional security feature. But by creating a new project, it then is going to live within my workspace. And from here, I now can upload content. I'll go through a tour of this in just a moment. But uploading content is really simple. I could simply just drag and drop content into my account. I could click this upload section here in the middle. Let's go ahead and upload this folder here with these assets in it. And I do want to draw your attention over here to the left-hand side of my screen where you could see a full list of all of the assets that I've uploaded in the past. This gives me an audit trail of everything that I've uploaded, and by clicking on it, it will also take me to that location within the project. Now that I've uploaded some content, I can move it around. So let's say I wanted to create a new folder. I'm just doing a two-finger click. I can create either a new folder or a new restricted folder. The difference being that a new folder is available to every single user. A restricted folder will mean that I will need to actually invite in members who can see it. So from here, I can manage the access of these users, but by default, no users have access to it. But just by creating a new folder, I also can drag and drop content into it, but I also can use a couple of different actions within my account. By multi-selecting, I can either copy to, move to, or duplicate assets. The difference being that if I copy assets, it will not bring over the comments or annotations. Moving it will, and duplicating will just create a second version of these assets, but it will not be mirrored. So one action that occurs on one asset will not occur on the next. Let's say I want to move these just into a different folder. You can see here that then I can select which location I want to move them to. I also can move them between projects within my account. I know that I uploaded a couple of PNG files here, but sky's the limit of what the file types are that you could upload into Frame. You can do PNGs, JPEGs, of course, video files, audio files. You can also upload PDFs, which we can go through in just a moment to go through some text-based editing. Also, assets that are included as part of the Microsoft suite. So if you have Microsoft Word files or PowerPoint, you can really upload anything into Frame now, just making it really one centralized location for your teams to work. I would like to highlight that for any asset that you upload, the original is always being imported and saved into Frame, so that way you could download that original if you need it. We also transcode and create lightweight, web, and mobile-friendly proxy versions of your content, so you can play it back from anywhere you have access to Frame. Maybe you're on set, maybe you're at the airport. You can certainly access that content as well. Mm. Creative. Hey, nice to see you again. It's Is it possible to apply LUTs to uploaded video for viewing? My understanding is no, but I could be wrong. I certainly could check in on that for you. Hmm. All right, I'm going to go back home by clicking on the top left-hand side, and we are going to spend a little bit of time underneath this marketing project for our short edits. You can see that I have a couple of assets in here. Let me just give you a tour of what you're looking at. I know that we've used this homepage up here a couple of times to get back to that main screen. There's also a search bar here where you could search for assets associated within your account. This is where you can receive notifications. I had my notifications turned on for when I upload assets. And this is that upload section that we viewed earlier. We'll go through these tabs in a little bit. But then down here underneath this panel view, you can see all of your assets with the folder tree broken out. You even can get a little bit more specific where you could even open up these folders and see all of your assets at once. There's an option here for collections, which kind of function like smart folders. So based on the metadata tags that you use, you can create and manage content at the project level. I'll showcase this in a bit. And share links is where you can see a full list of all of the share links associated with your account, including accessing and removing in bulk. Down here in the bottom, there's also the option for camera to cloud connections where you can actually sync up a piece of hardware with your Frame.io account, meaning the second you call cut, content will automatically upload into Frame. Really sweet technology. There's also the option up here to connect your account to Lightroom. Let's go ahead and go back to our short edits here. I do want to highlight that each individual can also adjust the appearance of their account. So if you want to see either content listed in thumbnail or list format, you can. You also can adjust the card size, ranging from small to large, the aspect ratio. You can flatten the folders to reveal all of the assets within your content as well. This field section pertains to metadata fields. We'll hop into that in a bit. And of course, sorting, where I can sort based on a number of different naming conventions. I would like to highlight up in the top right corner that you can adjust the panel view. So this panel here, you can remove it if you are in the middle of work and you don't want to see it. I'm just clicking again just up here in the top on the right. There's also the option to open up a couple of additional panels where you can see your assets, the asset. This just makes it a little bit easier for you to be able to sort through content, leave comments at a high clip, and also share out content a little bit easier as well. This content that you're looking at here is for an energy drink campaign called Drip. We're going to go ahead and spend some time here. Let's go ahead and hop into our footage section where we're going to talk a little bit about some features that exist and also the different forms of commenting and annotating that you could leave on your account. I have these two assets here. I've already left a couple of comments. You can see here that it's revealing that I have 9 comments associated or 6 comments associated with these. These two assets are really similar. For all intents and purposes, let's say that this is our very first cut and this is our second cut based on some of the comments. I can actually keep these assets together in what's called a version stack. So I can take one asset and drag and drop it over the next. And it's going to leave this V2, indicating that there's 2 assets that are associated with this version stack. Not only does this keep these versions together, but this feature also enables me, by just clicking here under this version, to compare them side by side. So I can actually see what I've completed from edit 1 to edit 2. If you could see too, when I'm clicking on each one, there's a purple bar up at the top. That purple bar just indicates audio. So I can determine maybe a different voiceover or a different song, but between A and B. If I upload more content, I also can decide between which of those assets I actually want to view. I know that we've all been guilty of having really long email threads, final. Nobody really knows which one's completed, but a really great way for you to stay organized. And you can also share out a version stack so stakeholders can see all of the content that you have completed. Let's chat about commenting and annotating. I love this comment section. It's quite dynamic. It enables you and your team to leave comments from one another, to reply back to comments. You even could use that comment section as a checklist. We're watching this video now of our runner kind of going around this corner here, that's nice rays of light. We are working on a final deliverable, let's say for social media. We know that we are going to use a part of this cut as a part of the quick cut for highlighting our energy drink campaign. So we're going to leave some comments as such. There are a handful of different comments that both you and any stakeholders can leave within Frame. Comment, a range-based comment, you can @mention users, you can leave an annotation or a hashtag. You also can make an anchored comment. You also can upload a file to a comment. So I'll walk through all of that in just a moment. But what you're looking at here on the player page, there's a play pause option. You can loop. You can also adjust the playback speed or the audio. There's an option down here in the middle as well where users can adjust their time format, frame standard or time code. And over on the right-hand side over here is where you can leave an anchored comment. So you can actually drop a pin specific to a location on an asset. You also can adjust the viewer settings. So this was the proxy versions that I was mentioning earlier. You can also add in a guide. So let's say you want to see how content would look on social media. You can add in that guide here. Let's go ahead and turn that off for now. Whoop. I just made a big home screen there, or I also can set a frame as a thumbnail or download a still associated with this still here as well. And then, of course, all of our comments right over here on the right-hand side. But let's leave a couple of comments together, and I can showcase how powerful this comment section really can be for you and your teams. So down here on the bottom, I have the option to adjust the timestamp, an annotation, attach files, even leave an emoji, and I can make comments either public or internal. Anybody who receives a share link in Frame does not occupy a license. So let's say I want to share this out with stakeholders, but I don't want them to see the comments that I've made. I can make a comment just internal. Let's leave these public for now. So from here, let's say that at the very beginning of this shot, really like it, but I think it looks better when the rays of light are coming through and she's starting around the corner. So maybe I just want to leave a single comment here and say, let's start this shot here. Here being right at the time code. By clicking on a comment, it's also going to indicate directly down here in my timeline where that comment is associated. Let's say we're going back here to the beginning of this comment section though, and we want to leave a range-based comment. If you can notice here, there's almost little brackets. I can drag and drop those brackets, leaving a range-based comment, indicating that this is the specific period of time that I'm referring to. So for this range-based comment, maybe I can mention our editor, Luke, and say, Luke, please edit this out. I'm saying, please edit this out. I like the later shot more. By clicking on it, it's also going to reveal this line indicating this time period that I'm referring to. So there's an example of both a standard comment, also a range-based comment with an mention associated with it. But I also can leave annotations and hashtags, anchored comments, and also upload um, files to a comment as well. So let's say that I click play and we're going here. I love these rays of light. However, it does look like it's a little bit washed out over here. So maybe I want to indicate to my VFX team that I want to lighten up this section over here. I can actually leave a comment here and say, can we make the sky more blue? I'm also going to leave a hashtag here for our VFX team. And I also want to draw an annotation. So I'm going to click on this annotation section where I can leave either an arrow, a line, a box, or I could draw freehand. Let's draw an arrow and let's make it green so it stands out a little bit more. But I can then draw an annotation to this specific location. This is where I'm referring to. By clicking enter and clicking on that comment, it is going to reveal my annotations that I have left. But if I just click play through it, it's not going to show up or anything like that. Just in the event that I don't want those annotations to be blocking whatever I'm doing on my assets. Okay. So I just left an annotation and a hashtag together, but I do want to highlight this anchored comment section. I've especially seen this used in PDFs or JPEGs, but let's say that I want to indicate maybe right up here that I want to leave a comment for a location where we're doing a voiceover. I can then upload the voiceover script and say, this is my script for the voiceover. Additionally, I can leave a comment right over here with the voiceover script. So let's say I want this to be internal only. I can, of course, add an attachment here. Here's the script. And maybe I want to mention my colleague Jacob, indicating, hey, what do you think about this script, Jacob? Do you think we need to make any adjustments? And let's go ahead and send. So I've just left all of these different types of comments. But the powerful thing about this comment section is I can reply directly back to a comment. Let's say this is already done. My editor can reply back and say this is done. And then we can even use this option mark as complete as a checklist. And then from here, we can filter based on completed or incomplete attachments, annotations, or specific individuals that have left comments. We can even search for comments that have a hashtag associated with them. In this particular instance, VFX. I also can sort these comments based on public or internal and search for keywords within the comment section. By clicking more, I can copy these comments and paste them on a different asset. I also could print them, which would actually open up a PDF on a separate web page of a full audit trail of everything that I have completed on that asset. So you can see here that it has the timestamp, the comment that I left, and the annotations in a little thumbnail. I also can export to Final Cut, Media Composer, Premiere, Resolve, or to any plain text options here. Pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and click back over here. Any questions about commenting, please let me know. But I do want to highlight a couple of different types of workflows for comments specifically. So let's say we have a couple of JPEGs that we know that we're going to be working on and doing some editing on. Frame.io for video, photography, and marketing teams. Very cool. From here, I have the ability to, as opposed to leaving just an anchored comment, you can see here that there's an option for suggestions. But I can now use our new text markup tool to select text in any document to add comments or draw in annotations around a specific text. So I could search within a document, for example, Command F. Let's say I want to search for the word cloud. It's going to reveal to me in my assets any word that matches the word cloud, such as work in the cloud. I then can suggest edits in my document with 4 markup options. So the first, let's say I want to highlight this option. You can see here that now within this comment section, I can highlight text to add suggested edits. I can also insert new text at specific points, delete text indicating that I want it to be removed, or I could also just replace it with alternate wording. So let's say I want to replace work in the cloud to remote teams. Let's go ahead and make this public, but by clicking send, it is going to then leave a comment over here on the right-hand side that I want to replace the wording work in the cloud with remote teams. This option here says communicate with clarity. I like that. Easily make timestamp frame accurate comments and annotations that flow directly into editorial software, eliminating lengthy emails and unclear instructions. Cool. Maybe we could highlight this too. And let's say that we want to insert a section that discusses that feature that we just went over. New features available, like version stacking. I am now leaving an annotation saying that I want to add this to the end of this text. Really wonderful new features that allow you to do more than just video-based comment and annotations. I'm going to drop in the chat now an article that outlines the text-based editing options. I do want to show an additional feature, which is transcriptions, which is the newest feature to Frame, also announced at NAB. I have a folder here for some video interviews. I know that they are video heavy. This one's 7 minutes. We have a full interview going here. This same section down here on the bottom for transcriptions enables me to transcribe what has occurred within this text, which is going to pull up a generated transcript for my video asset. I can also do this for audio assets. The cool thing about this is I then can search for a specific text to find key moments or navigate by clicking any word in the transcript to jump to that point in the timeline. So we know that she is a sprinter. So let's go ahead and search for the word sprinter. It's going to reveal that word. When I click play, it's also going to follow along. And down here in the bottom, you can also see that there's an option for closed captioning, which is automatic for both web and iOS. There is the option to support in 18 languages. However, it does have to be in the language that it was originally recorded in. It doesn't yet have the ability to transcribe down into a different language, but really, really incredible technology that allows you then to export in either SRT or VTT format. You can also bulk upload or bulk transcribe rather by selecting multiple assets and generating transcripts, which will generate transcripts for all of them. This is in English where we want to keep it, but here's all of the different language options if you feel so inclined to explore them. By selecting English and transcribe, it is then going to go ahead and create the transcripts of those assets. I'm going to drop in the chat now an article around transcriptions. Any questions, please let me know. All right, so I know that we just chatted a little bit about commenting and annotating and the ways that you could leave comments to then share out in the future. I do want to chat a little bit more about some organization within your account in the form of metadata and collections. You notice right down here beneath these assets, there's a couple of tags: video status, release platform, release date, or final edit. You can see that they're a little bit different depending on the asset. This is metadata at work. So right up here in the tab is where I can see fields. From here, I then can enable any of the 32 out-of-the-box metadata fields. However, you said, Ryan, there's 36 here. That is actually because there's been 4 custom metadata fields that have been created. You can create your own too. So by searching new field, you can create a new metadata tag based on any number of different selection options: single select, multi-select, date, rating, a person, multiple people, a number, single line, or long text. Let's say that we want to do multi-select, and maybe we want to have this be approved by leadership. Let's make this one yes. Let's make this one in progress. And let's make this one no. We can adjust the color of these different statuses. And by adding that metadata tag, it is going to add it then to every single asset associated here. Not only can you search then for those metadata tags and filter based on these metadata tag options, but then I can create a collection based off of these tags that will automatically update. So the metadata collections go hand in hand. Let's say that underneath this collections option, I wanted to see one of these pre-existing fields. So final assets. You could see that there's a header image, there's also a logo image, a name, and a description. And this is a collection of all of the assets that are filtered where the final asset is checked yes, and it's grouped based on the metadata fields of release platform. So how that shows then for my clients is Instagram with the asset associated, YouTube with the asset associated, et cetera, et cetera. If I was to add the metadata tag for final deliverable is yes is clicked on, it will automatically add it into this section. These are our final assets though. We don't want to mess with that. We want to create a new collection. From here, then I can adjust this header and the logo and the description however I see fit. Let's go ahead and make the header large and select our own background image. I'm going to do this option for change image, and we could just use one of our bulk defaults here. This one of outer space looks really nice. We then can select the source folder where we want to adjust assets from or pull assets from. I want it to come from all of our assets here. Let's give our collection a name. Say leadership approval status. And let's go ahead and add in an image. We're pulling all of our assets, but maybe the fields that we want to use is approved by leadership. And we want to filter it based on that field. Has any of these options, yes, in progress, or no, or maybe I want to group it based on these fields, leadership. Let's go ahead and adjust this filter to be approved by leadership. Has any of yes, in progress, or no. And maybe we want to group based on rating, highest to lowest. So there's no assets that match yet, but let's go ahead and make a couple of adjustments in here. Let's take a look at our footage here, and let's go ahead and add in a metadata field for a 5-star rating option. So we're going to apply that metadata field. You can see that there's already a couple of star adjustments or ratings. Let's go ahead and just do a couple of different ratings here for all intents and purposes. And from here, I can sort by leadership. This one has been approved. Let's say that this one's approved. This one's in progress. This one is not approved. This one is not approved. And one more in progress. Going over here to our leadership approval status, you can then see that these groups that I added of rating 5 stars, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I also can then see the status if it's approved because I've used those metadata fields that pull. I also can make the filtered adjustment. So approved by leadership is maybe only yes. I can even make that adjustment too, meaning that the only field that it's going to pull from is that somebody from our leadership team has approved it. Sky's the limit for what you can do with these collections. I've seen them used for specific individuals, for specific workflows, really up to you, however you see fit. But something that I like about these collections is that you can then share them out for review. So we're using now that collection that we just created with this custom branding for our leadership team to be able to see and review. Anytime you generate a link within Frame.io, though, you have the ability to make a couple adjustments. Remember, we did go through the settings already for our defaults, but I also can change the link visibility to be secure or public. I also can change the layout. So do I want it in grid? Do I want it in list format? Or do I want it to have my custom branding in the form of the reel, which is right over here? So there's just one share link to rule them all with a whole bunch of different layouts that I can select for my team to be able to view and adjust. I also can apply a passphrase, a link expiration date, and the watermark associated. I also can enable which permissions I want reviewers to actually see. Do I want them to be able to leave comments, download assets, or show all the versions? And lastly, I can select one field that I want users to be able to adjust. if we want to do rating. Okay. So let's go ahead and copy this link and open it up in a new tab. You can see here that now my custom branding is applied. I also can leave comments and annotations, and I can see all of the comments that are associated with each individual asset. I also have the ability as a user to leave some comments too. I would like to highlight that anybody that receives this link does not occupy a license within your account. This is a reviewer. This is just somebody who's viewing more of a final deliverable as opposed to actually being included into the Frame.io account itself. So this is an important differentiation and distinction. Do you actually need users to have a license or not? Are they just simply viewing content that you share out with them? A couple of different ways that you can generate share links. You can simply do it by just clicking on the asset and creating a share link. You also can add content to an existing share link. I can also click this plus button to create a new share link. This one's just based on the date. There's no custom branding yet. But then from here, I also can drag and drop content into this new share link that I just created if I wanted to share it out with somebody. By clicking on this option here for all share links, it's going to reveal every single link that I've generated. So we have our leadership approval status, PDF markup, etc. I can see the number of views. I can also see who it was created by and the date created. By selecting these options, I also have the ability to delete or just disable these links. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom. I'm going to click delete. Let's get rid of them. Users will no longer have access to them. They are gone, but it will not delete any of the assets that are associated. But speaking of delete, there is an option here for recently deleted where I have 30 days to recover any assets that I've uploaded into my account. Mm. All right. Any questions, please let me know. I know that we just flew through a lot of content over the past 45 minutes. However, a couple of things I would like to leave you with before we wrap up for the day. Down here in the bottom left, there are a couple of tabs. The first being keyboard shortcuts. If your team or you feel so inclined, there is a full list of ways that you could save some time with keyboard shortcuts, especially when it comes to leaving comments in that player page. There's also an option down here to submit a feature request. So if there's something in Frame that you say, oh, I really want to see this, drop us a note. Our team goes through it every day, something that we take seriously. So please leave us any feedback or any feature request submissions here. And lastly, we do have a support team. They're available 24/7. These are actually live people that are chatting right now, but you can even check the status of Frame here or search through our support articles in addition to messaging our account teams. We're here to help. Please let us know. Lastly, I do want to leave you all with the link to our knowledge base, which I'm going to go ahead and create a new tab and just show you what it looks like. There is a whole bunch of different tabs that you could select and open up a whole bunch of different articles that walk through how to leave comments, share links explained for clients, which I think is a really helpful tool, especially if you are seeing that people are just responding back to your email with feedback, but a ton of really great resources that are available within these articles. I'm not seeing any comments come through. So I would like to say thank you on behalf of our entire team for letting us be a part of your creative process. I hope this was a helpful session for you. I'll be right back again next week, going through the same session and certainly speaking about any new features as they continue to come down the pipeline as V4 just keeps getting better and better. But thank you again for your time today, wherever you're tuning in from. I'll see you again soon. Take good care.